Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Got Stuck in the Apocalypse after the Chunin exams. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget if you're new, I did have 4 channels, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Universe Had Quirks over on Anime King 3. So go ahead, check it out, and yeah, enjoy. And also guys, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Fell in Love with a Vampire Queen. So go ahead, check that out and enjoy as well guys. And also, I post a brand new episode of Anime Prince, so go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. Yes, 4 channels, all links will be down in the description, so yeah, go ahead, enjoy them. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification on all of them so you can see when I post, because I do post a lot. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this new episode? Begin now guys. So the last time we left off, Naruto just defeated Gaara. His siblings took him and jumped off, while Naruto was left there. Naruto was gonna make his way back to the village until the heavens open up. A meteor. A meteor that seems like it was gonna bring the end of the world itself came down from the heavens. When it crashed, Naruto was thrown. Something caught him, however. Whatever it wasn't able to hold on to him for too long, as Naruto was thrown. When he woke up, Naruto was under several trees. Trees that came together to make a perfect little hut over his head, protecting him from the weather. However, all he could see was darkness. Naruto lay there for days. He ended up even wetting himself. As he could not get up to go to the bathroom, he ended up eating crickets and ants that crawled towards his face. That was how bad it was. By the time he got enough strength to get back up, despite still being exhausted, Naruto moved. And he then found out something rather peculiar with the rain. The rain was literally dropping acid. Naruto started to freak out as he couldn't believe what the hell was going on. He didn't know what happened to the village or what happened to the place. But he had to move, so with that he kept on moving, as Naruto moved to the best that he could. Arriving towards the village gates. The gates were literally torn to pieces. Naruto swallowed thickly as he saw it. Bodies all over. He accidentally stomped on some bodies as it made him cringe in fear and disgust. As Naruto started to search, but he couldn't see a single soul. The thought that he was the only person left alive started to well up in his mind, as it was starting to become really bothersome. Naruto moved as he went to his apartment when the storm came down. As everything came melting down, buildings collapsed outside, as Naruto figured that he was the only one left. Turning on the tap, he realized water was there, so he gathered some gigantic buckets that were under his sink, as he quickly filled them up for some drinking water and some for bathing water. Once that was done, Naruto ended up dropping back asleep as he was still exhausted. The next morning he woke up, he realized he had to search, so with that he searched. 5 days Naruto went on the search as he gathered food and supplies from different buildings. That is when he came across blood. Following said blood, he went to a strange house as he found Hinata Sensei Kurenai as she was in a bad predicament. Her body was a mess. Naruto brought her back to his place, covering her eyes with his goggles. Arriving towards his home, Naruto ended up cleaning her. It was a bit awkward and nervous at first, but he had to, in order to make her better. But she still wouldn't wake up, so he took care of her. Naruto ended up started writing down in a journal until weeks passed. Kurenai fever had broke and she was getting better, but still, seemed like it was going to take a longer time than he expected. As Naruto went out exploring once again, he was giving Kurenai medicine every 4 hours. Making his way towards the Chunin exam location, Naruto saw the bodies of Rock Lee and Kiba as he felt something inside him torn. After the devastation that he saw, the hope that people were still out there was getting less and less. He ended up finding Toki, but what Naruto saw terrified him. Toki had his stomach swollen up like it was about to burst, a yellow goo dripping from him. Toki muttered the words Ayame as he pointed in the direction, his mouth unable to fully properly form the words properly, but Naruto heard him. Naruto ended his suffering by blowing up the place. Making his way, Naruto found a door that was covered by several objects. Moving said objects, Naruto made his way inside. Arriving inside, Naruto found Ayame as she was in a bad condition. Her hair was a mess as she was torn, and she looked out of it as she started to attack him, saying that Naruto was dead. Despite Naruto being right here, she said that the thing got him. She attacked him and attacked him and attacked him until Naruto grabbed her. She cried. As she tried to get free, as she cried. But the more time passed, she ended up passing out on him as Naruto lifted her up. What the hell did that to Tokyo that was a problem, and what that was that thing that Ayame was talking about? Naruto did not know. So he decided to run as he ran and he ran and he ran. Until something grabbed his leg as Naruto saw a weird tentacle coming from the darkness. Naruto ended up ripping it off as the thing burned his leg. Naruto ran as best as he could until his body started to get worse. Since waking up, Naruto hasn't been able to use his chakra or even summon clones. And now, Naruto was feeling so tired as his body was getting weaker and weaker and weaker as he could not keep up anymore. As Naruto started to fall, Ayame ended up falling out in his arms as she dropped right in front of him. As Naruto grit his teeth in frustration trying to reach her, but his body gave out. Before he fully passed out, though, a voice spoke up. A voice that said that he would help him this once. And Naruto went black. Everything went black for him. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the other episodes and check them out guys. And also, don't forget to go ahead and check out What If Naruto Universe Had Quirks. And enjoy that guys. And remember for new, yes, I indeed have 4 channels that I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button, become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification and see exactly when I post. Links will be down in the description for all the other channels. Yes, do have 4 of them, so go ahead, enjoy guys. Without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode? Begin now. Naruto's eyes snapped open as Naruto looked around frantically. That is when he noticed he was in his apartment. Naruto was beyond confused. The last thing you remember, as he looked towards the window, shit, he didn't give Kurenai her medicine. Where's Ayame? He thought to himself. As Naruto fumbled through his house, quickly opened the door. However, Kurenai was lying there, peacefully. Ayame was laying on the futon on the floor. As Naruto ended up leaning back against the door and collapsing down to the ground, confused by what was going on. He glanced towards his leg. There was no more wound there. The last time he checked, something had hurt his leg. He had a lot of questions on what was going on, however, he was back home, and he was grateful for that. Suddenly he heard the storm outside increase. The howls of the wind, the cracking of the lightning, the rising questions that were in his mind on how he got back. Naruto got to his feet. Those will not be answered right now. He reached over and checked Kurenai by placing a hand towards her forehead. I guess she's doing better. I don't know if I gave her the medicine or not. I'll just give her half a cup then, said Naruto, as he poured a half cup and let she drink. Once she finished drinking, he set her back down. He looked down towards Ayame. He touched her forehead and then her cheek. He didn't feel anything wrong. She was just sleeping peacefully. Naruto brushed a piece of hair from her face. Her dad was gone. Kiba was gone. Lee was gone. Was everyone else gone? Was the 3 of them alone left in this world? Despite his sleep, Naruto did not feel refreshed. As he wiped Ayame's forehead before he cleaned Kurenai. Yes, it was still embarrassing. But after a week, he started to deal with it. Once the 2 ladies were taken care of, Naruto made his way. Taking some of the jug of water in the category for bathing, Naruto gave himself a bath. He would have to make another trip for some water at some point. With his bath done, Naruto feasted on some jerky snacks, chips, and canned soup. He also ate some apples and banana that he found still fresh. With his stomach full, Naruto washed the dishes that he had piled up in his sink. He already knew if Kurenai and Ayame woke up, they would criticize him for the mess. Shikamaru would have called it troublesome. Once the dishes were done, Naruto lit a candle as he looked towards a map, as he traced the location that he took from the stadium. He marked the stadium with a large danger symbol. Naruto heard another crash outside. Some house, store, or building crash. Okay, I need some more water. There's still some more at the market. I can go get that. Then, I need some more shinobi tools. That should be in the shinobi district that sell kunai and other things. I could also get some mesh armor and other things, however, that's passing by the Chunin exam stadium. I guess I'll take inventory tomorrow morning, Naruto thought. He ended up falling asleep as he woke up. As Naruto woke up to see that it was bright outside, not the normal bright but bright enough to see, and he didn't have to lit a candle. As Naruto worked out what he was gonna do, before he grabbed his journal as he started to write into it. Naruto log, day 5. Kurenai still hasn't woken up yet. The medicine I've been giving her is getting smaller and smaller. I might need to get her something else if she doesn't wake up. I went to the Chunin exam stadium to try to find a place to stay from the weather outside. I didn't find a base, I found a graveyard. Kiba and Brushy Brow are gone just like the others. I saw Tuki as well. He was wrapped in some type of flesh sack. He wasn't a nice old man that always gave me ramen. His body twitched and I saw hundreds, if not thousands of slippery things under his skin. I freed him from his torment. Thanks to him, I also found Big Sister Ayame. I don't know what I'll tell her if she asks me about her dad. But it doesn't matter. I swore to Tuki I would protect her. And that is what I'll do. As I was leaving, I was attacked by something. It laid in the darkness. I think it was hunting me ever since I stepped down there. Don't. Go to the stadium. Something crazy lured in the darkness. I barely made it out with Ayame. I passed out shortly after, however, somehow. I don't know how, but I woke up in my apartment. Naruto yawned as he scribbled on the candle. He didn't know why he was feeling so more and more weak lately. After all, he had wake up last night from a long sleep and then he had to go to sleep again. Granted, he just slept for about 2 hours because it was already close to morning, but still. Once he was done with his journal, Naruto started to stretch. As Naruto made his way towards the bedroom, he grabbed the medicine. Ayame had turned over in the futon. Kurenai was the same as usual. The blonde smiled, no fever. As Naruto grabbed the wet towel once again, Kurenai had been sweating a lot. Despite not doing any strenuous activity, she sweat a lot. Perhaps he should be thankful that Ayame was not awake to see this either. Once that was done, Naruto fed Kurenai breakfast. While he let her stomach digest food, he turned towards Ayame. He thought about giving her a bath as well. She kind of smelled bad, but that wasn't her fault. As Naruto did not know that much about sickness, but Kurenai was starting to get better. If Ayame, who came from some place dirty, wasn't clean, then wouldn't that affect Kurenai, who hadn't fully recovered? So he better get her clean. As he pulled down the covers and pulled off her clothing, perhaps he should have been more flustered, but he didn't have the time to waste. Plus, it wasn't so bad now. Oh sure, he was still scared to death that they might wake up. But what could he do? But Naruto couldn't help himself as he looked. As his face turned red as he looked away. He always thought that she was beautiful and cute, but she was way older than him. Plus, he had an interest in soccer at the time. Well, he still did. But comparing her to these two women, well, she just didn't match up. As Naruto grabbed the towel and started to wipe her down, naturally he left her lower garments on. He was crazy but not suicidal. He washed her hair and scrubbed her with soap. He was rather surprised she didn't wake up, as he believed it was because she was so tired. She groaned in her sleep as Naruto paused, stopping to see if she would wake up. However, she did not as he continued. Once she was finished, Naruto dressed her in new clothing. As he placed her clothes with Kurenai's old clothing, as he placed the covers back up to her neck, he then closed the door as he left them back to their rest. Naruto then ate some more as he took stock of the inventory that he had. He needed more water. He could probably pick up some other medicine out there while he was out. That is if the buildings hadn't been crushed and destroyed. He did hear at least 2 buildings collapsing yesterday. As Naruto picked up his backpack and moved out. Before he began though, he looked towards his house. The roof still looked stable and everything still looked strong. For now, he thought to himself. As he did notice a few more creaks on the lower level that weren't there before. It was nothing to worry about now, but that didn't mean it wouldn't be a problem later. He had to keep his eyes peeled. As Naruto went out once again, he noticed that the place was a lot hotter than it was yesterday. In fact, it was so hot he had to go back and remove the coat that he was wearing. There was no heavy wind today. He still kept the mask though because it was still blowing sand and dust, but it was not as worse as it was yesterday. The place was now a greenish color coming from the sky. Green and dark yellow. As Naruto opened his map, right on target, he said. As he entered one of the convenience stores that he hadn't looted, and opened his bag and started to take everything that he could. Naruto started to pack everything away. He went towards the medical part as well, grabbing gauze, bandages, wrapping cloth, medical alcohol, as he grabbed as many as he could. He then went to different places, clothing for himself, and some that he thought that women and some girls could wear. After about 8 trips moving around, Naruto had collected enough, as he took a break, eating some jerky and drinking some water, as he had supplies to last for at least another month or two. Hell, if Ayame and Kurina stay asleep for more longer, they would last even more longer. That said, he started to use other rooms for storage. One of the apartment rooms was for clothes, the other one was for spare food. Still, he wished he had some help. If one of them wake up, it would give him the confidence to at least go further out. With that, Naruto started crept through the commercial district of the village. As he marked some places on the map, Naruto entered a store as he looked towards the cash that was there. It's not like he would need money now. Well, you never know, he thought as he picked it up and stored it away. He also thought about going to the commercial bank and taking what was there, if it was still standing. He didn't know what you might need money for. Maybe there was something out there. Maybe. If they left Konoha and go somewhere else, they would need the money for something. And he wanted to be prepared just in case. Arriving towards the weapon shop, Naruto grabbed some kunai shurikens, ninja tools, before he headed back out. As he left the things back at the house before, he gave Kurina her medicine. The one that he was giving her to drink had run out. He'd have to find some more of that, but he hadn't found any more of that one yet. As Naruto made his way, he found a secluded part of the village, not too far from his home. For the next 3 hours, he trained his body as he practiced kunai and shuriken techniques as he threw and launched them in towards the trees. He trained hard. Something was out there, he didn't know what it was. The image of Tuki burned into his mind, and then he started to remember about Lee and Kiba. Everything, everyone. He started to get frustrated as he started to punch a tree. He didn't know how long he was out there for, as he kept on punching until the tree started to crack back and fell. That snapped him out of his trance. He decided to head back home for now, but there was still something he wanted to try. It's been a few days now, he thought, as he relaxed his mind. He took a deep breath before he started to gather his chakra. However, he screamed out in agonizing pain. It felt like fire was rushing through his lungs, but he refused to give up as he slammed his hands together. Even a small amount would be enough. The pain would be worth it. Black veins started to spread across his arms and legs as he felt like his body was being ripped to pieces. The veins then started to glow with an unnatural color that he could not see. He closed his eyes from the sheer amount of agony rushing from his body. His breathing felt short, his lungs burned. His throat felt like it was gonna explode. Yet he endured the pain. The gravel and dirt beneath his feet started to crack. Acid green energy started to pour out of his skin. Unlike normal chakra, this was not blue. This power. It hurt, but it felt like nothing that he ever experienced before. His body was adapting and feeding off this new power into his chakra system. The green chakra flooded through his body, touching every single point of him. It seeped into his bones, his muscles, his stomach, his heart, and any place that he could reach. By the time it was done, Naruto wondered if he was gonna die. Naruto collapsed down to his knees, his hands kept him from falling down to the dirt. As he coughed, blood came from his mouth. As he ended up dropping on his side, Naruto panted where he was. What was that? He thought to himself. He slowly got back up to his feet. Every inch of his body cried out in pain. He slowly limped back home. That's it, change of plans. Tomorrow was his day off. He was too out of it. By some miracle he made it back. As he got back up to the stairs, he felt the winds start to increase behind him. It seems he was lucky, he thought to himself. As he got back and he closed up the door, he gave himself a bath. Seeing that he was sweaty and dirty, once he was clean, he limped towards the living room. As he collapsed on the couch, he passed out instantly. After a few hours, something was brushing through his hair that started him awake. The place was now severely cold. As Naruto felt his skin, his body was so cold. As Naruto slowly opened his eyes, wondering what was going through his head. Glancing up, Naruto couldn't believe it. There was a hand combing through his hair. Naruto's face lit up into a smile. Ayame-chan, he said. Ayame was awake. As Naruto turned on the light and motioned for her to take a seat, the brunette was caught, a bit embarrassed. She was just sitting there, wondering if this was real. As she'd take a good look at Naruto, he looked so different. Did he get taller? Was this real in Naruto? He was always wearing that orange jumpsuit. As Naruto was in a white t-shirt and some boxers, he just looked so different. Are you hungry? Said Naruto. The moment he said that, her mind Remember, back to the Chunin exam stadium, and the horrors. The horrors that she had saw. She remembered herself and 10 other people, including her father, that was stuck in the boiler room. At first it was easy. Wait for the invasion to be over and had someone locate them. That was a plan, but she was not prepared for the hell that followed. She remembered the sound of something like thunder. The room had then shaken like a violent earthquake. One of the people in there was killed by some debris. It caved in their skull. When she thought about it now, she wondered if that individual was the lucky one to die so easily and swiftly. Once the trauma of the first death stopped, that was when everything went downhill. The first day everyone was scared, tired and hungry. However, self-preservation kept them all in the boiler room for a few days. It was on the 6th day that 2 people offered to go and see the situation. Her father was one of them. She pleaded with him not to go, but she was lost on the majority. No one else protested. They all thought it was for the best, so they left. And they never came back. That was the beginning of the end of her world. Days passed and more people tried to leave. Some grew crazy, fear, or paranoia. She grabbed an iron pipe to protect herself, praying to the gods that her father returned safely. Some people lost their nerve. They ran out of the room and ran into the darkness. It was only when she heard it, the sickening screams of people dying. A girl that came rushing back towards the door. A man had opened it. Once the door opened, something wrapped her in her waist. She thought it was a strange tentacle. The woman was dragged back into the abyss. The man had quickly closed the door. As days passed by, 10 people then became 9. 9 became 7. 7 became 3. And then, there was only 2. Her and a man. Ayame liked to think the best of people, but she didn't know this man and she was afraid to fall asleep. However, her body gave out on her. She nodded off for what she thought was an hour or 2. When she woke up, the man was gone. She was the only one left. She decided to make her own attempt. As she had stepped out into the darkness, her step was an echo. Tears fell down her face as she held the iron pipe. She was scared. She could feel something staring at her, hunting her. She lost her nerve though as she ran back to the boiler room and closed the door. There was a bang as she collapsed onto the floor. It followed her. Whatever was out there knew that she was in here. It was merely waiting, scared, hungry, thirsty, alone. Ayame crept into the corner. As she waited, she then heard it. Ayame! Ayame! The voice cried. At first, she didn't recognize it until she heard it closely. It sounded like her dad. She wanted to open the door until she heard something slippering, something clattering against the door. She stood there, shook her hand on the handle. As she just stood there, she lowered herself as it was a slit. As she looked through it, what she saw was her father standing there. Something was on the back of his neck, latching. Black ooze leaked from his eyes and nose and mouth, as something then crawled out of his mouth and scampered away. Ayame backed away in fear before the thing, whatever it was, slipped underneath the door. It was small enough to do so. It crawled towards her like some kind of spider. She drove the pipe into its skull, or she thought it was a skull. She crushed it over and over and over and over until her arms burned. She then heard his voice once again. Ayame screamed before he was pulled away. She gripped her mouth tightly, trying not to scream. As the days went by, her sanity was being tested. As she started to wonder how easy it would be to bash her own skull in with a pipe. Nevertheless, she couldn't go through with it. She did not want to die. She wanted to live. She set up a barricade in front of the door. And here she was now in front of her savior. Uzumaki Naruto was offering her food. She remembered when she first saw him, she thought she was crazy. She was down there for so long she thought the thing had tricked her and turned into Naruto. She guessed that she passed out because she had woken up in Naruto's apartment. And she was in some different clothing. No, I'm not hungry, she said. That was a lie. She was so hungry that even the table looked appetizing to her. But she couldn't find the will to eat. Ayame-chan, you're gonna have to eat, said Naruto. She looked like she was about to refuse, but the blonde continued on. I know it's hard, but this is not our old life anymore. The world has changed, the village is gone. And anyway, I can't have you getting sick or getting too weak. I'm already taking care of someone else. Don't make me mouth feed you, said Naruto, because I'll do it. As he blushed in embarrassment, she found it funny, but her face just would not laugh. Her stomach grumbled as she looked around to see the supplies that Naruto gathered. It seems like he was making the most of his predicament. She kept her head down, her hair shadowing her eyes, as Naruto walked into the kitchen. As Naruto made her a perfect sandwich, he also brought some fruit as well. As she stood there for a while, Naruto, she said, "You told me that my father sent you to me. He's dead, isn't he?" she said. "That thing, it took him. He's resting now," said Naruto. "No one can hurt him anymore. I swear." She started to cry. Naruto walked over and held her in his arms. He tried his best to soothe her and calm her with words. He didn't know what it was like to lose a parent, but he did know what it was like to lose someone precious. He too had lost so many important people in his life. Even now the pain was still there for him, but he had to be strong. He couldn't afford to be that naive, stupid Naruto that many people claimed that he was. He had to be strong. He made a promise to himself and to Toki to be better. "I'll protect you, Ayame. I promise," said Naruto. He held her tighter as she sobbed right into his chest. After some time her stomach started to growl once again. She drove her head deeper into his chest. She really wished it would stop doing that. She pulled back and turned to the food, as she slowly picked up the sandwich. As it tastes like heaven. It tastes so wonderful. It was delicious as she sank her teeth down into it. While they ate, they traded information. Unfortunately, neither of them knew what happened. Both told the other where they had been when the giant rock fell from the skies that Ayame did not know about. But Naruto did know. He told her everything of the world outside, about the weather. Yes, it was rather frightening, however, she was impressed. "Naruto has come so far despite the circumstances. I'll go over my plans with you tomorrow. Now that you're awake, that opened up some options for me." He was already thinking of the advantage of having someone else conscious in the room. "Alright, I'll like that," she said. Thanks for saving me, Naruto-kun," she said. He scratched his cheek. "Yeah, no problem," said Naruto. Ayame finished 5 more bento lunches and 3 wrap sandwich. As she looked rather sheepish when Naruto looked towards her, but Naruto simply laughed as he moved back towards the couch. As she made her way. However, about 10 minutes later he was shaking awake. "Huh? What's wrong?" said Naruto. "Would you mind if I stay with you tonight?" she said. "I can't sleep." As Naruto noticed her hand trembling. "Yeah," said Naruto. Ayame brought him towards the bedroom. As Naruto checked Kurenai, she was okay. As Naruto crawled into the futon, he felt a bit embarrassed as she leaned against him. However, he could feel her trembling. She was afraid. Probably nightmares when she closed her eyes. So he held on to her as she slept. The next morning, Naruto spent 1 to 2 hours giving her a rundown of the house and the supplies. He showed her where the bath water and the bathroom supplies. He also showed her where the clothing and food was stored. However, the power was out, so they did not have a way to heat up the food that they have at the moment. But that was the least of their concern, or the least of their worries at the moment. As they decided to eat something. "So," she said, "these clothes you gave me, I didn't remember putting them on before sleeping." Naruto paused. Yeah. I changed you out of your old clothing." "Look, I had to. I mean, who knows what was down there? And what if it had gotten on your clothing?" said Naruto. "You would get sick too. Then I would be taking care of Kurenai-san and you." "It wasn't, I didn't mean, Ayame shook her head as a small smile came on her face. "I'm joking," she said. "You don't have to explain. I know that you did it for my benefit. I'm sure that Kurenai-san will understand as well. If it's all the same for you though, I will take over washing Kurenai-san and changing our clothing," she said. Naruto breathed easy as he nodded quickly. "Yeah, that would be really great," he said. "So," said Naruto as Ayame kept on eating as he placed the map on the table. It made her feel bad as she realized that he spent majority of his life on the streets, so things like these came to his mind naturally. "On how to hunt and scavenge." "Mostly," said Naruto, "I've kept to these areas." As he showed her in the map, "I had tried to stay close to Kurenai-san since I was the only one watching her." The Chunin exam stadium was the furthest I ever went in the village. Most of the civilian district has been. Naruto did not finish. "I see," she said, as she understand. "Now that I'm awake," she said, "you're confident to be out longer." "Do you really have to go though?" she said. "We have enough right here," she said. "Nothing lasts forever," said Naruto. "Everything we have here is bound to expire eventually. Plus my apartment is not too stable. There will come a day when it will crash to the ground like other buildings. I gotta find us somewhere else before that happens. That was why I went to the Chunin exam stadium in the first place. Now that that isn't an option, we'll have to look somewhere else." We might even have to leave Konoha, he replied. Though she wanted to protest, she knew that he was right. Each time she looked outside, she could understand. The place was going to hell already. However, the same thing she said. Huh? Said Naruto. You're saying almost the same thing my dad said. He left. He said he would be right back. And he didn't. What if you don't come back either? What if I just... As Naruto stopped her by placing a hand on her shoulder, as she looked into his determined eyes. It's alright, Ayame-chan, said Naruto. I'll make you a deal. A deal? Give me a reason to make it back home alive. When I come back, I want you to say welcome home. No one's ever said that to me before. I'll make sure whatever I will not die if I hear those words, said Naruto. Despite the sadness running through her, she looked up into his determined eyes. She couldn't help but smile. Alright, she said as she nodded her head. It's a deal. Once that was concluded, Naruto said that he would spend the next 2 days at home. He called it a break for himself, naturally. She was happy to hear that. So Naruto continued to make plans for those 2 days, as Ayame take over as Kurenai caretaker. She would update the blonde on Kurenai, recover progress. Ayame also designated Naruto as her security blanket. Her words, not his. One night she woke up in a violent scream, which caused him to rush into the room. Since then he started to sleep in the same bed with her. It took some getting used to for both, but it was either this or a nighttime of screaming. The only problem was, Naruto was a teenager, and in the morning for guys, especially around Naruto's age, well, Ayame said that she would never talk about that, as Naruto was beyond grateful. As that morning problem rised up, and Naruto could not help it. She understood that it was not his fully doing. It was just a morning reaction for guys, as he was beyond grateful that she understood, and did not judge him for it. Either way, they put it behind each other. Once his days of rest were over, Naruto got dressed in his usual gear. It was another windy day, but he had his goggles and everything prepared. You have food, water, your weapons, Ayame said, checking him over. Yes, yes, and yes, said Naruto, as he moved the thing that was blocking the door. As he looked back towards Ayame, she was worried. Yes, he could see it on her face. She gave him a smile. Be careful, she said. Don't worry, I will, said Naruto. I promise. With that, Naruto took off, leaving her there. As Naruto tried something before he channeled chakra into his feet, Naruto covered his mouth to stop himself from screaming. Okay, chakra is still a no-go. He still had no idea what happened to him. He did not even know about the veins that went across his face. But his body was still recovering, which was strange, given how long he has been up and running. The run to the Shinobi district took a longer while than he thought. That's because there was bones and buildings crushing and blocking his path. And without the use of his chakra to walk up the walls, he had to climb over. A lot of debris was in his path, glasses. It was a good thing that he took these boots, as he walked and crushed the glasses underneath his feet. Naruto passed by the exam stadium, as he watched the place the entire time, but nothing happened. Nothing at all. But he then felt sick to his stomach as he saw corpses of children, men and women, flies, and maggots buzzing around them. As Naruto kept his face stern, he did not look their way. The smell was detestable. Rotten and decomposed flesh was everywhere from sand, sound, and Konoha Shinobis. Then there were the animals, the summons of those killed in combat, lay with their master. Naruto saw more than a few canines from the Inuzuka clan. It was only a barely recognizable skeleton. Some of the bones had obviously been blown away. Some of the inside started to grow some type of mold or fungus. Weird creepy plants, green plants were growing. It was not your standard green for normal plants. They were a different shade of green that he's never really seen on plants before. Naruto turned his head. He may need to find a gas mask, he thought. The normal cloth over his mouth was not doing so well. He arrived to another open empty area, but this did not. Had bodies all over. Naruto picked up falling kunais and shurikens on his way. His bags were already getting full and he had yet to be in a store. On the bright side, he did grab a few scrolls, but he was not sure what they were for. When his backpacks were half full, he made his way to a shinobi store. The window displays were broken through and glass littered the ground. At least he did not have to worry about breaking in. Stepping over the glass, Naruto landed inside. Just like every other store he visited, the place was dark. Broken shelves of kunai, swords, and other weapons lay almost everywhere. There was a distant howl from the wind, as it came from the upper of the shop, that unnerved him. Okay, first thing first. As Naruto found some scrolls that were meant for storing, Naruto then realized something really messed up. He needs chakra. Shit, he thought to himself. As he saw the sealing formula on top of it, he didn't understand this formula or what it meant or what to do about it. He cursed in his mind. Unknown to him, green chakra traveled from his body. It flew straight to his eyes. As Naruto started to see something strange. What's going on? He thought, confused. As he could literally see and start to understand the scroll formula, the kanjis that were scribbled all around. Like a voice in his head, he realized he understood everything that was being given to him. He dropped the scroll confused. What the hell was that? He said. As the sensation was so weird, it was like information was being feeded into his skull. Grabbing the scroll back, he opened it once again. This time nothing happened. He watched it for about 5 minutes but nothing occurred. In fact, he wondered if he just hallucinated the whole thing. He reached his hand out and poured chakra into it. Naruto was shocked when a green aura swallowed his hand. It was that green chakra from before. He watched as it poured into the seal. And then, poof. It worked, said Naruto, as 5 kunais clattered on the ground. As Naruto resealed them back, then he noticed something strange. Why was the edge of the scroll green? Was it always green, he thought, as he wondered if that was because of the green chakra that he was using. He quickly grabbed everything that he could get. It had quite a lot of them as well. Enough to fill the whole backpack. That said, he will have to come back at least 3 or 4 more times to fill everything up. As Naruto decided to try it on another one that was red, and the thing turned green. Naruto was confused as he didn't know what this meant. No one was here to give him any answers. Naruto moved off as he downed some water and snacked on a bento. As he was moving and eating, "Help me!" Naruto froze, turning his head around. "Help me!" Naruto heard something clatter around the corner. Moving around, Naruto saw a metal trash can. The lids had bite on top of it, like something had torn into it. He even heard something crash in the distance. He turned. Despite his desire to help or find survivors, Naruto's body was telling him to run, to get the hell out of here. Something was wrong. He could not do any stupid move, jumping in and doing anything stupid. He found a gas mask as he had placed it on as he pulled it up and stepped. He entered into the place that he now called the Valley of Death, the deeper parts of Shinobi district. Due to the mask, his breathing echoed through his ears. Each step as he stepped through body parts that he could not name, its boots cracking bones. He had his hands on his kunai pouch. There was at least 1,000 weapons and scrolls in his bag. Yet he did not feel safe. He felt less safe than when he was back in the stadium. "Help me!" Naruto spun around as he started to pant a bit, not out of exhaustion but out of actual fear as he glanced around, his eyes moving from left to right. Kunai in his hand as his hand shook from the uneasiness. As he stopped in the middle of the roads, mountains of corpses were laying over to each side. As Naruto looked around, "Help me!" Naruto rushed over towards one of the alleyways. As he pressed his back against the wall, he swallowed a lump in his throat. His grip on the kunai and shuriken was almost suffocating. What if there's more of those things out there? Everyone is dead, he thought. The memory of what Ayame said made his breath shallow. He rapped explosive notes around kunais. As Naruto saw something in the distance, he threw the shuriken that he had in his hand before hitting once again. The weapon struck something rather loudly before clattering on the ground. He then heard scratches. It reminded him when those female teachers at the academy scratched a chalkboard with their nails. It then moved. It flashed across his vision so fast. Naruto was startled. He was not sure what it was, but it was on all fours, and it was fast. It moved at inhuman speeds. It was too fast for him to tell what it was. As Naruto knew that he should head back, but if he could gather information and find out what the hell is going on. He quietly pulled out the map. The Konoha Bank was further that way. Granted, he didn't really care about the money that much. What he cared about was the top grade weapons. That is where they were, in that district. But the money, the jewels, and the gems in the bank, they might be good thing to trade outside Konoha if him and Kurna and Ayame ever left. He didn't know if it would still be valuable outside, but might be. Just might. So he still need to take that as well. Alright, I'll stay for now. Plus, I should investigate that call for help. Naruto froze. What the hell? He felt something wet soak into his clothing. Something landed on his shoulder. It was slippery. Naruto glanced slowly as he saw. It looked like black saliva. Something was behind him. He didn't know if it was fear. Yes, it must be fear because he did not move. He just stood where he was. He then heard something scream. That was no normal animal that he knew of. He heard claws clashing and ripping against something. The blood in his body was pumping so hard you could hear it in his ears. "Help me!" Something cried out. Naruto tried to tune it out because he could not move. Out of pure fear, he could not move. Slowly, the sound stopped. As Naruto finally turned, his heart felt like it gave out at that point. He did not scream though, as a creature stood in front of him. Its mouth dripping the black saliva. Naruto's mouth was silent. He did not move his eyes, just look at the creature. It had no eyes. Its face was covered by what looked like some extra skin from its forehead. What passed through her mouth was a series of long, black, hair-like tissues that flapped around in the wind. Long black claw, bony arms that flap alongside the wall. It walked on its hind legs. The creature was almost human-like, but it crawled in such a way that would drive most people insane. Its back looked like a lizard. Fresh skin resembling bones lining its frame. Tiny points like needles jutted out from its skin, all over its body. Its tails was like a mix between flesh and bone, piled together to make a tail. Two more clung to the wall to the side, and two were above him. Naruto did not move a single muscle. Strange enough, it almost seems like they did not see him. They looked around, their face moving like they were trying to smell something out. Naruto heard something thud right in front of him. As Naruto's eyes widened as he saw the heads of 6 shinobis rolling. Their eyes were eaten out, their tongues ripped out. But the one that Naruto recognized the most. As Naruto paused, he went to school with her. She was always quiet. She never spoke up. Words went through Naruto's mind. In my eyes, you are a proud failure. Because when I look at you, an intense feeling pops up in my heart. Because you're not perfect. Because you fail. And yet you have the strength to get back up because that is true strength and you believe in yourself. She always fainted when she saw him. She allowed him to cheat off her tests. She encouraged him. Even when someone like Sakura never would. I'll never go back on my word. Because that's my ninja way as well. He remembered her words in that fight against Neji. When Neji had placed her in the hospital. As Naruto had been so angry. And he promised Neji the beatdown of a lifetime. The head of Hinata Hyuga ruled in front of him. With a few other genins that he went to the academy with. The only solace he hoped was that she died before she was put through this agony. But despite that, the rage, the burning rage, the anger inside of Naruto exploded. For them to desecrate her like that, rip her apart. These things, these monsters, I'll kill them. I'll kill them all, he thought. Red and green chakra exploded from him, ripping apart the wall in a violent way, blasting through things above him away. The creatures shrieked and yelled. Clearly they reacted to negativity in the air, as Naruto chakra spiraled out of control, red and green twirling and fighting. Naruto's nails sharpened, his fangs extended. As the one in front of Naruto's mouth, it curved up into a look of nothing but a grin of malice. It was like it saw him. Its head tilted to the side as it looked over him. Naruto was about to lash out until he stopped himself forcefully. Something was wrong. Words of Iruka and Kakashi pumped into his ears that he was too reckless, that he always got overboard jumping into things. He was too impulsive. Despite seeing the severed head of Hinata, he didn't lash out. There was just something wrong. Something told him that there was many of them. And despite this thing looking at him, it did not attack him for some reason. He wasn't sure if he could even see him, but yet it just steered his direction. And how did they sneak up on him? Either they were immensely fast, faster than him, or they were good at stealth somehow. As they didn't even have ears either. If they were blind and deaf, why are they just standing here like that? Naruto slowly raised his left hand. The creature tilted its head in that direction. The leader, the one that was in front of him, it screeched. As Naruto saw the others in the walls, would climb up. They looked around like they were sensing something. It was then that Naruto saw it. Green chakra was around their bodies as well. Naruto looked towards his arm as he noticed that it was covered in green chakra as well. What? What's going on? Why is my chakra green? He said. However, the place started to rumble. Corpses fell over as buildings crashed into another. A massive earthquake shook the village. The creatures wailed and rushed off, leaving Naruto with the heads of those who were killed. The rumblings grew stronger as buildings started to collapse, leaning over and crashing hard. The land exploded in hot steam and fire. A gigantic creek ripped through the district, swallowing up all the bodies and the fallen buildings. The buildings that still stood was not safe either. Lightning struck with such dangerous ferocity that everything was being destroyed and ripped apart. Naruto's eyes widened as the ground split open. He screamed as it devoured him. Naruto reached as he grabbed onto a rock. However, it was too slippery. He fell as he slammed against the ground hard. As he felt agonizing pain course through him, debris and stones fell on him, slamming into his face, tearing his clothing. As Naruto looked up before he dived away, a gigantic boulder crushed where he once was. As Naruto leaned against the wall in the darkness, the rumbling continued. As corpses were being buried under tons of debris that fell off the building tops. I gotta get out of here, said Naruto, as he did not even notice a piece of a broken building that stabbed him right in the shoulder. As he saw Hinata's head falling, as it went deeper into the trench that had split open. Why? Why did he have to see that? As Naruto clenched his fists, Kurenai, Ayame, he could not die. He refused to die. As he thought about Sakura, Kakashi, Sasuke, what would he do if he saw one of them in that state? No, he shook his head. He refused to think about something like that. They couldn't be dead. Kakashi was a well-known elite shinobi. He had to be alive. Naruto glanced up towards the walls. No doubt they were slippery. It was just like back in the cliff when Jiraiya had pushed him off. He needed a way up. He remembered his green chakra as he brought his fingers together in a cross sign. Multi-Cyclone Jutsu, he said. However, nothing happened. Damn it! What kind of chakra is this? Naruto yelled. Screw it. Naruto forced all the chakra down to his feet. He didn't matter how sloppy it was, as he started to climb up until he slipped, losing balance as he slammed headfirst into the ground. Naruto groaned in frustration as he slammed his hand down roughly, cracking the earth. He cursed. He cursed like he'd never cursed before. Was something actually screwing with his life more than he already had? What chakra doesn't allow someone to do the most basic shit? He has done this exercise plenty of time, so why couldn't he? Why couldn't he get up there? He roared in frustration. Damn it. What was the point in even getting angry if he was gonna die? It wouldn't even bring his friends back, and it wouldn't stop what was going on. Suddenly, Naruto had lashed out and slammed his neck. Something bit him. Wait, a bug? Huh, good thing Shinu's not here. He would kill me for this. Naruto jumped as he felt something crawl in his leg. What the hell? He said, as he reached and pulled out the flashlight and shined it down. As a large centipede was trying to wrap around his leg. Get off me, said Naruto. I ain't your blood bag. As he kicked the thing away from him, it bounced on the ground before it skittered away. He smacked the side of his cheek, another insect. As Naruto now felt dizzy, he fell against the wall. A horrible realization flushed through his body. Something crawled on his arm as he slammed his arm into the wall. This time a large leech was knocked off. Blood seeped from his shoulder. His finger twitched. He slapped his arm, another blood-sucking insect. But this time he did not felt it. The feeling in his body had left him as Naruto collapsed face first. Am I dying? He thought. Maybe. It's better this way, the thought rushed through his mind. He was so tired. He just wanted to give up. Yeah, he would just give up. Naruto, please come back. Naruto's eyes slapped open with a fury as he ripped into his pouch. Grabbing two kunais, Naruto slammed them into the wall roughly. Naruto pulled himself up. Something creeped and crawled into the walls. The harsh buzzing of large insects buzzed into his ears. Screw this, he said as he kept on climbing. He kept on getting bite, but he climbed and he climbed and he climbed. As Naruto got to the top, but then he saw something as he was lying on his back. A creature. It had the beak of a hawk, its body looked like some kind of insect, long strange arms, its screech. Its voice was so loud it felt like his eardrums were gonna burst. The thing flew towards him as Naruto pulled out a canister of oil. He quickly drank it, before he lit the match on the ground. The thing flew as Naruto then blew on the match. The gas burning out of his mouth, creating flames, slamming into the insect, as it and the others that tried to climb up on him was being burned alive. Naruto could not feel his fingers anymore. Damn it, as he dropped once again face first. As he heard more buzzing. Wake the hell up, brat! Are you trying to get us killed? A voice shouted into his mind. Naruto's eyes snapped open as he felt something in his right hand. As Naruto saw a strange creature that he's never seen before, its teeth ready to sink into his flesh, but his hand had reached out and grabbed its throat before it would even bite him. Naruto was done. He was done. Screw it. Screw it all, he roared. Violent red and green chakra came out of him as tails exploded behind him. They bashed around the cavern, tearing everything apart. Bugs were lit aflame as they were being burned and turned into dust. A gigantic beast of a bug, twice the size of the one that he held, came out. Naruto snarled before he threw himself. Naruto then slammed his fist repeatedly into the thing until it started bleeding red blood as Naruto dragged the thing face into the earth and smashed it several times. As Naruto kept on bashing it over and over, with a feral roar he then sank as he leaped. He collapsed right on top when he did, as strength started to leave his body slowly. This is the last time I help you, brats. If you want strength, work on it on your own. The voice echoed in his mind before going quiet. Naruto got to his knees. He finally got away. He thought to himself, his hands covered in green blood. He got up and started to walk. He didn't know how much time passed. Minutes, hours, days, weeks. To him it seems like weeks had passed, but his sense of time was currently off-putting right now. When Naruto finally arrived, he knocked once. Well, his head did, because it banged against the door. When Ayame opened the door, her eyes went wide. Naruto, she yelled. Time skip. Naruto opened his eyes as he heard acid rain outside. He made it, he thought to himself. Feelings were in his hands and arms. His body was also bandaged as well. He slowly leaned up. He was on the futon that he slept with Ayame in. He looked toward his hand, that green chakra. He had to learn how to use it. It wouldn't do well for this house if you fall as well, Naruto. You have to take better care of yourself. Naruto was shocked by that voice. Naruto glanced, looking towards the bed as he saw Kunai, looking at him fully awake. Her voice raspy a bit. You're... Indeed. I understand I have you to thank for my well-being. It's good to see a familiar face, Kunai said, as she tried her best to smile at him. However, as Naruto looked at her, only bad thoughts filled his mind as he remembered Hinata and Kiba. As the pain gripped his chest tightly, now he had to tell her that. As Naruto lowered his head. But guys, if you end subscribe right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.